Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you who are joining in from Sri Lanka and also from around the world. We are here with the September edition of our usual town hall, but today's town hall is a little bit more different. We're going to be opening the floor up to the board candidates who are running for the elections, including myself. So that session will be taken up by Sanjay as we go on. So we will have, I'm not sure who will be joining us in terms of the candidates who are running. I see Mercy and Adam has reached out as well. And he has said he's getting slightly late, but he will be joining as well. So let me get my screen up and we'll be on our way. So once again, I welcome all of you for the CoinCeylon Intersect Sri Lanka Hub Town Hall. So today we have a quite a short agenda, but it might be quite interesting still. So we'll be going into the latest hub updates of what's been going on here in Sri Lanka and what's been happening in the past couple of weeks. Usually we have this town hall towards the end of the month, but this time we are having it slightly a little early. So usually we have it on Fridays. Today we are having it on a Tuesday. So it's a slightly different approach today. We will be getting into the product and vision strategy workshop that is also planned up at this coming weekend, and also about the Industry Expo 2025, which just got concluded. I'm sure many of you might have seen pictures. If you haven't, please go on X and have a look at it. We'll be getting a little bit into detail with that. And also the board election candidates spotlight will be there. So whoever's here, we will be giving them a little bit more chance to speak to the community and also share their thoughts and who they are and what they plan to do. And we'll also open it up for the community to put forth any questions they have. And that session will be conducted by Sanjay. And then we have the newsletter update from Intersect, which will be done by Rashan today, if you have time. So just to say a little bit about this in Sinhala, සුබ සන්ධ්‍යාවක් සියලුම දෙනාට අද අපගේ CoinCeylon Intersect Town Hall එකත් එක්ක සම්බන්ධලා ඉන්න. අපි ඇත්තටම වෙනදා පවත්වන්නේ මේක සිකුරාදා දිනයක. අද අපි පවත්වන්නේ අඟහරුවාදා දිනයක. ඉතින් ඇත්තට මේකට හේතුව මේ පැවැත්වෙන ඉන්ටර්සෙක්ට් මැතිවරණයත් ඒකට මුල් වුණා. ඒ වගේම අද ඇජෙන්ඩා එකේ අපේ තියෙනවා ස්පෙෂල් සෙෂන් එකක්. ඒ තමයි board election candidates. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේ ඡන්දෙට තරඟ කරන තරඟකරුවන්ට අවස්ථාවක් ලබා දෙන්න ලංකාවේ community එකට කතා කරන්න. ඉතින් ඒ අවස්ථාව අරගෙන මෙතනට පැමිණෙන සියලු දෙනාම අපි සාදරයෙන් පිළිගන්නවා. ඒ වගේම අද අපි කතා කරන්න ලෑස්තිලා ඉන්නවා Industry Expo 2025 ඉවෙන්ට් එක ගැන මේ ළඟදී කන්ක්ලූඩ් වුණ. ඒ වගේම product vision and strategy workshop එකක් අපි plan කරලා තියෙනවා මේ සතියාන්තයේ. ඒක ගැන අපි විස්තර ටිකක් කතා කරන්න plan කරනවා. ඒ වගේම newsletter update එක අප වෙත ගෙන එනවා අද රෂාන් විසින්. board election candidate session එක ගෙන එන්නේ සංජය විසින්. ඉතින් ඒකින්ද ඔක්කොලාටම රැඳිලා ඉන්න කියලා කියන ඔයගොල්ලන් තියෙන මොන හරි ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා නම් අනිවාර්යයෙන් මේ ප්‍රශ්න ඔයගලන්ට ඉදිරියට ගේන්න පුළුවන්. Yadurshan, would you like to say something to our friends in Tamil?
Yes, thank you, Kavinda. வணக்கம் எல்லாருக்கும். புரட்டாசி மாதத்துக்கான CoinCeylon Intersect Hub-க்கான மீட்டிங்க்கு வந்ததுக்கு ரொம்ப நன்றி. இன்றைக்கு வந்து நாங்க என்ன பார்க்க போறோம்னா இன்றைக்கு என்னென்ன தகவல்கள் நாங்க இன்றைக்கு பரிமாற போறோம்னு முதல்ல பார்ப்போம். முதலாவது வந்து நாங்க இன்றைக்கு வந்து எங்களோட ஹப்ல வந்து என்னென்ன இந்த மாசம் நாங்க என்ன புதுசா பண்ணியிருக்கிறோம், என்ன புதுசா அப்டேட்ஸ் இருக்குன்னு நாங்க பார்க்க போறோம். பிறகு வந்து ப்ரொடக்ட் விஷன் அண்ட் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி ஒர்க் ஷாப் ஒரு நாங்க புதுசாக அடுத்தது நாங்க பண்ண போறதை பற்றி நாங்க பேச போறோம். அடுத்தது வந்து இந்த போன வாரம் வந்து எங்களுக்கு இண்டஸ்ட்ரி எக்ஸ்போ 2025 இலங்கையில வந்து எங்களுக்கு நடந்தது. அதுல CoinCeylon வந்து ஒரு பெரிய பங்கு எடுத்திருந்தது. அப்ப அதை பற்றியும் நாங்க சில 2-3 கருத்துக்கள் பற்றி பேச போறோம். பிறகு இந்த முறை வந்து எங்களோட போர்டு எலெக்ஷன் வந்து நடக்க போகுது. அப்ப அதுல வந்து போர்டு எலெக்ஷன்ல வந்து பங்கு பெறாக்கள் வந்து அவங்களோட தேவைகளை வந்து அவங்க வந்து பேசுவாங்க இன்றைக்கு. பிறகு கடைசியா வந்து எங்களோட நியூஸ்லேட்டர் அப்டேட்ஸ் நடக்குது. அது வந்து எங்களோட ரிஷான் என்ற எங்களோட கம்பெனியில வேலை செய்யற ஒருத்தர் வந்து அவர் அதை பற்றி பேசுவார். பிறகு கடைசியில வந்து Q&A வந்து அதாவது உங்களோட கேள்விகளுக்கு வந்து நாங்க விட சொல்ற மாதிரி எல்லாமே நடக்கும்.
Thank you so much, Adurshan. So this is one of our spotlight events that we usually have pretty much every year now. So last year, we actually launched our hub along with that event, which was the Industry Expo 2025, which is the largest industry exhibition that happens in Sri Lanka, which usually has about 200,000 people attending every year. So we had a booth at this event, and we have been posting some pictures and videos around it. We will be putting down the highlights video in a couple of days. So these were some of the pictures that was captured on day one. As you can see, we gave out a lot of merchandise as well. And special thanks out to the Vespa wallet, which actually gave special airdrop, especially for this event. And a lot of the people who actually signed up with us and also attended really appreciated it. And there was a lot of interested people, even from schools, university students, businessmen, and also developers and people who are currently on blockchain space, and also people who are trying to learn about blockchain as well. So another specialty thing that which happened there from CoinCeylon was that we launched a special learning platform called the Learning Network. For anybody who wants to learn about blockchain technology for free, they can sign up and start doing their courses on there. So that platform came to light over there, and we had a showcase of some of the events that happened around the world. As you can see in these pictures, you can probably see these, I don't think you can see it, but in the backdrop, we had pictures from the Constitutional Convention, which happened in Nairobi in Argentina, things that happened in Japan and then Dubai, and also in Las Vegas and Vietnam. So all of these events, the pictures and everything was also there. And we also had a membership drive there where we onboarded people to the hub as well, who has been in the space but have not really gotten involved with the hub. So we invited them all to come on board, and people who weren't fully aware of it, we got them on board as well. So the amount of interest that was there at this event, just to give you guys an understanding of it, we actually ran out of our leaflets by the fourth date around noon. So you can imagine, and we actually did plan to we actually doubled the amount of leaflets that we did last year, but unfortunately it wasn't enough because there was so much of interest that went into it. So this was day 2, and these are some of the pictures from day 3. And we had some really fun boards there where, it says proof of fund built on Cardano, and I'm an Intersect member. So all of these members who were registered became paid members and also associate members. We did take pictures with them as well. And yeah, I'm there in somewhere as well. This is day 4 captures. So it was a 4-day event. So there was a lot of things that went into planning this, and our booth was quite large this time than last time. So we did have a special video screen on a part of the booth as well. So we displayed some of these events that were taking place around the world in the Cardano ecosystem, and also the showcase the work that we have been doing with the hub, as we have done close to about 14 events just from last year. So it's quite a lot of work, and you can actually see the results as you can look at the pictures. So another special thing which happened on the day was one of the days was that we hosted the Minister of Industries and Entrepreneur Development in Sri Lanka, Honorable Sunil Handunetti, at the CoinCeylon Intersect Sri Lanka booth, who visited and actually had a chat with us regarding of what's been going on in Sri Lanka and the kind of work we've been doing with Cardano around the world and also in Sri Lanka, and the university workshops that we've been having. He was very supportive of that as well. So it was a very, very special highlight of our event. So just to say a little bit about this event in Sinhala, Industry Expo 2025 Sri Lanka කියන event එක පැවැත්වුණේ BMICH එකේ කොළඹ සැප්තැම්බර් 18 ඉඳලා 21 වෙනකන් දවස් 4ක් event එක පැවැත්වුණා. ඉතින් ලංකාවේ ලොකුම industry expo එක තමයි මේ Industry Expo 2025 කියලා කියන්නේ. ලක්ෂ 2කට අධික ජනකායක් එකට එනවා. ඉතින් ඒකට ඇවිල්ලා අපගේ බූත් එකේ ගොඩක් විස්තර දැනගන්න ඕගලන්ට ලැබුණා. ඒ වගේම අපි මේ බූත් එකේදී අපි launch කරා platform එකක් learning network කියලා. ඒකෙන් අදහස් කරන්නේ ඕනම කෙනෙක්ට blockchain තාක්ෂණය ගැන ඉගෙන ගන්න ඕනේ නම් ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඇවිල්ලා ඒකට sign up වෙලා නොමිලේ ඒක ඉගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන්. අපි platform එක තවත් දුරටත් develop කරගෙන යනවා. ඒ වගේම CoinCeylon Intersect Hub එකට අපි එතනදී සමාජිකයන් බදවා ගත්තා. මේගොල්ලන් එක ගත්ත පින්තූර කීපයක් මෙතන තියෙන. ඉතින් ඇත්තටම හොඳ අවස්ථාවක් වුණා අපිට ගොඩාක් එතනදී අලුත් මුහුණු මුණ ගැහුණා. ඒ වගේම අපගේ කමියුනිටි එකේ ඉන්න අයත් එතනට ආවා. ඉතින් ඇත්තටම ඉතාමත්ම හොඳ අවස්ථාවක් වුණා. ඉතින් ඔයගලන්ට මේ අවස්ථාව මිස් වුණා නම් දුක් වෙන්න එපා. මොකද අපි මේ වගේ තව ඉදිරියටත් මීට්අප්ස් ඉස්සරහට කරන්න plan කරලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඔයගලන් sign up වෙලා නැත්නම් මේ call එකේ අද ඉන්නවා නම් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම sign up වෙන්න. ඉතින් ඒ වගේම තව දෙයක් කියන්න ඕන තමයි අපගේ stall එකට පැමිණියා Industries and Entrepreneur Development අමාත්‍යතුමා සුනිල් හඳුන්නෙත්ති මැතිතුමා පැමිණියා. ඉතින් එයත් ඇවිල්ලා අපගේ ඒ ස්ටෝල් එකේ කරන දේවල් සහ අපි කඩානෝ සහ බ්ලොක්චේන් තාක්ෂණය ලංකාවට හඳුන්වා දීම තුලින් කරන දේවල් ගැන ඉතාමත්ම හොඳ සුහද විස්තරයක යෙදුණා. ඉතින් ඒ වගේ ගොඩක් ඇක්ටිවිටීස් ඒ ඉවෙන්ට් එක පුරාවටම තිබුණා. ඉතින් ඔයගොල්ලන් මේකට සහභාගී වුණා නම් ඉතාමත්ම ස්තුතියි මේකට සහභාගී වීම ගැන. ඒත් එක්කම මේ ගැන දමිළ බසින් වචන කීපයක් කියන්න මම ඉන්වයිට් කරනවා යදුර්ෂන්ට. යදුර්ෂන්.
எஸ் தேங்க்யூ காவிந்தர். அப்ப என்னண்டா இந்த போன வாரம் அதாவது 18ஆம் தேதியில இருந்து 21ஆம் தேதி மட்டுமே எங்களுக்கு என்ன ஆச்சுன்னா இண்டஸ்ட்ரி எக்ஸ்போ வந்து BMICHல வந்து கிட்டத்தட்ட 200,000 பேர் வந்தாங்க. அதாவது அதுல வந்து அங்களோட பிளாக் செயின் அதாவது கார்டானோட இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் ஆன ஆக்கள், அதாவது அவங்களுக்கு அதை படிக்க வேண்டியதாக்கள், இல்லாட்டி அவங்கள படிக்க விருப்பமா இருக்கு, அவங்களுக்கு எப்படி படிக்கணும்னு தெரியாது, அப்படியான ஆக்கள் எல்லாரும் வந்திருந்தாங்க. அப்ப நாங்க அவங்க எல்லாரோடையும் வந்து நாங்க அவங்களோட கதைச்சு அவங்களுக்கு என்னென்ன தேவைன்னு எல்லாம் பார்த்திருந்தோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் நாங்க லேர்னிங் நெட்வொர்க்னு சொல்லிட்டு நாங்க வந்து அதாவது எங்களோட பிளாக் செயினை வந்து நீங்க முதல்ல இருந்து உங்களுக்கு படிக்கணும்னு எப்படி எல்லாம் பண்ணணும்னு நாங்க இலவசமா வந்து ஒன்று நாங்க லான்ச் பண்ணியிருந்தோம். அதுவும் வந்து நீங்க வந்து இந்த படத்தை எல்லாம் பார்த்துருக்கலாம். அது நீங்க இப்ப எல்லாம் பாக்குறது அதாவது எங்கள்கிட்ட வந்து மெம்பர்ஷிப்பா வந்து அவங்க இணைஞ்சாக்கள். அப்ப அவங்களும் வந்து ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சந்தோஷப்பட்டிருந்தாங்க. நாங்களும் வந்து ரொம்ப இப்படிப்பட்ட ஆக்கள் எல்லாம் எங்களோட பிளாக் செயினை வந்து புதுசா படிக்க இருக்கிறாங்களான்னு நாங்களும் வியந்திருந்தோம். பிறகு பாத்தீங்கன்னா மினிஸ்டர் ஆஃப் இண்டஸ்ட்ரீஸ் அண்ட் என்டர்பிரினர்ஷிப்ல வந்து எங்களுக்கு வந்து அவரும் வந்திருந்தார் எங்களோட CoinCeylon எங்களோட ஹப்புக்கு. அதாவது போன முறையான எங்களோட பூத்தை விட இந்த முறையான பூத் வந்து கொஞ்சம் பெருசா இருந்ததால நாங்க ஒரு ஸ்கிரீன் எல்லாம் வச்சு நாங்க கணக்கெல்லாம் பெருசா பண்ணியிருந்தோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து நீங்க பாத்துருந்தீங்கன்னா கிட்டத்தட்ட கணக்க பேருக்கு வந்து நாங்க இந்த BMICH இவெண்ட்ல வந்து நாங்க கண்டுபிடிச்சோம் என்னன்னா கணக்கு பேருக்கு இந்த பிளாக் செயின் பற்றிய கணக்கு அறிவு வந்து லைக் அவங்களுக்கும் விருப்பம் புதுசா படிக்கணும். நீங்க கவலைப்பட வேணாம், இந்த BMICH இவெண்ட் வந்து உங்களுக்கு நீங்க வந்து மிஸ் பண்ணிட்டீங்க. ஏன்னா நாங்க இப்ப வருங்காலத்துல வந்து நீங்களும் வந்து புதுசா இது மாதிரி எங்களை கணக்கு ஈவெண்ட்ஸ் நாங்க இன்னும் தேர்ட் இயர் லைக் செஞ்சு கொண்டு தான் இருக்கிறோம். நீங்க அதுல வந்து நீங்க ஜாயின் பண்ணி கொள்ளலாம். எஸ் Kavinda, back to you.
Thank you, Adurshan. So once again, thank you everyone who attended this event and made it a success. And a lot of the feedback that you guys gave us has been really good, and some of which I will be talking to the relevant parties related to that as well. So thank you so much for the feedback that you guys gave us. I really appreciate it, and us, everybody at CoinCeylon, also really appreciate that. So thank you so much for that. With that, we have a small update around an upcoming event. The date is yet to be confirmed. It's most probably going to be this weekend. So we'll have a Cardano vision and roadmap workshop to discuss how are we going to be building Cardano into the future. So for the next 5-10 years, where are we going to go? What are the kind of things that we are going to be doing and things like that. So we will be getting in a little bit in depth about the existing Cardano's vision and roadmap. So this will be in part organized alongside the product committee of Intersect. So we are still awaiting on some of the details with that. So we will be talking to you guys a little bit more about this as we finalize it. So that will be coming up very soon. Just to say a little bit about that in Sinhala. අපගේ ඊළඟ ඉවෙන්ට් එක මේ සතියන්තයේ තමයි පවත්වන්න තීරණය කරලා තියෙන්නේ. නමුත් ඒ දවස තාම 100%ක්ම අපි කන්ෆර්ම් කරලා නැහැ. ඒක තමයි Cardano Vision and Roadmap Workshop කියන එක. ඒක ඇත්තටම මූලික වෙන්නේ Cardano blockchain තාක්ෂණය ඊළඟ අවුරුදු 5 හෝ 10 ඉදිරියට අරන් යන්නේ කොහොමද? ඒ vision එක මොකක්ද? ඒක ගැන විස්තර කතා කරන්න තමයි workshops ටික අපි plan කරලා තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒකින්ද ඒකට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම එන්න පුළුවන්. මම ඒකේ අපි විස්තර ඉදිරියේදී publish කරනවා. අපි තව details එකක් අපි එනකන් ඉන්නේ. ටික ආපු ගමන් අපි publish කරනවා. මේ workshops ටික අපි conduct කරන්නේ Intersect product committee එකත් එක්ක සමගාමීව. ඉතින් ඒකේ විස්තර ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දැනගන්න පුළුවන්. Yadurshan, would you like to say a few words on that?
Yes, thank you, Kavinda. அதாவது இப்ப அடுத்த வரப்போறது என்னன்னா நாங்க Cardano விஷன் அண்ட் ரோட் மேப் ஒர்க் ஷாப் வந்து நாங்க அடுத்த வாரத்துக்கு வந்து அடுத்த வாரம் நாங்க என்னையாவது சனிக்கிழமை இல்ல ஞாயிற்றுக்கிழமை தான் நாங்க பிளான் பண்ணி இருந்தோம். ஆனா இன்னும் எங்களுக்கு அதுக்கான சரியான தகவல் இன்னும் வரல. அதாவது நாங்க அதுல என்ன பண்ண போறோம்னா அடுத்த 5 வருஷம் இல்லாட்டி 10 வருஷத்துக்கு வந்து எங்களோட கார்டானோட வந்து விஷன் லைக் அதாவது அடுத்த வருஷம் என்ன பண்ண போறாங்க, எப்படி இருக்க போகுது, எப்படியான தகவல் எல்லாம் நாங்க செய்ய போறோம், எப்படியான அந்த பிசினஸ் இன்டர்வியூஸ் அதெல்லாம் பற்றி நாங்க கணக்கு இது பண்ண போறோம். அதாவது நாங்க ஃபியூச்சர்ல வந்து நாங்க படிப்பு பற்றிய ஒர்க் ஷாப்ஸ் என்ன தேவையா இல்லையா, எப்படி எல்லாம் நாங்க செய்ய போறோம், அது எல்லாம் வந்து நாங்க இப்ப இந்த வரப்போற இந்த கார்டானோ விஷன் அண்ட் ரோட் மேப் ஒர்க் ஷாப்ல வந்து நாங்க கணக்கு கதைக்க போறோம். எஸ் Back to you, Kavinda.
Thank you so much, Yadushan. So with that, we are moving on to the elections, the ongoing election cycle of Intersect. So I think this is something that we are all very well aware of, and it's very interesting this time as we are opening this up for 4 board seats. Before the last year, it was actually 2, and this time it's going to be about 4. So with this, as I am a candidate who will be running for these elections, in order to keep the impartiality between all of these processes, I will be handing this over to Sanjay to take it forward from here. Sanjay, over to you.
All right, thank you, Kavinda. A very good evening to everyone. I am switching from my usual role and taking up the Intersect Elections 2025 and basically hosting this part for Kavinda, and I see only Mercy here at the moment. So as you all know, the board elections for Intersect is a very crucial milestone. It is when the community gets to decide who sits on the board for the next year. And as you all know, last year, alongside Kavinda, Adam Rush was also appointed as a community elected representative for the board. So today is the time for our candidates to address the local community, the Sri Lankan community, and give their insights as to why they're running for the board and what changes they have planned for Intersect moving forward. So without further ado, I'd like to call upon the first candidate, which is Mercy. Now, Mercy brings over 25 years of experience in project management, community development, and organizational strategies across West Africa, Canada, and the UK. As co-founder and partnership lead for WADA Global, she has played key roles in building ecosystems that connect global networks to local communities. A long-time member for the Cardano ecosystem since 2017, she has contributed in many ways and helped shape Cardano's governance foundation. Mercy, over to you.
Okay, so thank you. Thanks everybody here, Kavinda, for this opportunity. I'm very, very honored to be part of, all this great work that you are doing. As Sanjay has said, my name is Mercy. I am going to, in the chat, just put the link to my full membership. It's all there. I think that for the purposes of this group, I want you to know that the fact that the committee, the board membership, through the hard work of Kavinda and Adam Rush, was increased from 2 to 4. It just gives a really good opportunity for us. Why do I say that? So traditionally, the board comprised of the 4 founding entities. And when I say 4, I'm including Intersect, because Intersect does have a very strong voice on the board. Cardano Foundation hasn't really had like a proper seat on the board yet, but their influence is sort of all over. What I'm saying is that because we now have 4 community seats, what that enables us to do, in terms of pulling ourselves together, is actually to be able to drive community initiatives, the kind of things that we do in terms of actually onboarding people. As all of you know, or some of you might know, I'm part of the Asia Africa Cardano Coalition. And what we are trying to do is that there is a lot of work that is happening, should I say the global south, in Africa, in South Asia, Southeast Asia, and so on, LATAM, that, you know, when people are not on Twitter or in places like that, it just doesn't feel that they are doing any work. So the reason that we had come together was to show that there's a lot of work being done. And I mean, for Sri Lanka and the work that CoinCeylon is doing, it's, you know, it's really evident. But sometimes you do need to push a bit more. So my voice on the board, that is pretty much what it's going to be. Sort of find a way to bring more and more voices. And maybe when my term ends, we will pull some of you up onto the board as well. So not a whole lot to say. You know, I'm not going to you know, say that, okay, this is what I'm going to do and this is what I'm going to do. I think that it will be best now that there will be 4 of us to actually figure out how do we drive and push a collective community focus. My work, you know, speaks for itself. As Sanjaya said, you know, I have worked tirelessly. I'm a co-founder of WADA.org, for you that know. So yeah, I think I'll end here. I don't want to keep going on. If there are any questions, maybe, I don't know if Kavinda will speak first before the questions, but if right now there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mercy. I was actually planning on keeping Kavinda for the end, but as I do not see Rand, please correct me if I'm wrong. Is Rand on the call with us, or Rand?
No, I don't think so. He did message me on X, but I don't think he has joined yet. No.
All right, then. I will invite the next person up on stage, which I don't think needs an introduction from the Sri Lankan community, but nevertheless, I would like to invite Kavinda. Now, for those of you who don't know, Kavinda is the founder and CEO of CoinCeylon, Sri Lanka's first blockchain innovations company, and a community elected director on the Intersect Board. So he's a longtime member for Cardano and has been at the forefront advocating for blockchain education, governance, and adoption in Sri Lanka. He has also played a key role in launching Sri Lanka's first Cardano stake pool, NFT collection, educational forums, and the Intersect Hub, which is the first in South Asia and now one of the most active worldwide hubs currently. So, Kavinda, off to you.
Thank you, Sanjay. I mean, that was quite the lengthy introduction, so now I don't have much to tell myself. But it's an honor to actually speak to the Sri Lankan community alongside my colleagues who are also running for the election as well. We do have a set of spaces that are happening on X, which we have a lot more candidates who also take part. So today's session was to actually get everyone to speak to the Sri Lankan community if they would like to. So once again, thank you so much, Mercy, for your lovely comments and also being here as well. Just to say a little bit about myself, as you all know, my name is Kavinda and I've been in the ecosystem for quite a long time. So my blockchain history spans to 2012. So right around the university time, that's when I actually did start getting involved in the blockchain space. And then in terms of Cardano, been there since its very beginning. And those of you who know. And ever since then, done a lot of things in terms of the community building and things like that. And as Sanjay very rightly mentioned, now part of CoinCeylon. And last year, I was quite fortunate to have gotten elected to the Intersect Board. And that was the first community. We are just reaching the capacity on Zoom, which is great. We have full house today. Thank you so much, everyone who's joining in. So ever since I joined Intersect at the inception level and then going on for the election last year, we went into a system where there was no path forward, literally, because we were supposed to figure out the governance of Cardano as a facilitator as well as an administrator. But we didn't really have a guidebook or a manual or where are we supposed to go. So in terms of the work that I had to put in as my experienced during the last year, alongside my colleague Adam, who was also elected to the board alongside me, was mainly pathfinding, finding a path where there was none, and also finding a way that actually worked for the community. Yes, we had a lot of issues in terms of debates and pivots and all sorts of things, but I think again, when you're trying to find a way when there is no way, I think we did pretty good in terms of figuring it out and somehow getting the Cardano's governance lock unlocked, I would say. Now, basically, the community owns Cardano in full. So now that's when you actually feel like you own the ecosystem. So the path that we are going to take forward from now, from last year to today, how we have actually managed to put this path forward. Perhaps it's not the most, I would say, the most pleasant or the most accurate way of going forward, or the most efficient way, I would say, but there is a path now. So we can actually start to refine it, make it more efficient, make it more inclusive. And with these 4 board seats that are now getting opened, we, like Mercy very rightly said, we now have an opportunity to get more voices involved and actually have a majority community elected board seats in the board. So technically, there's more voices from the community there now after these elections. So then we have to make sure that we use that opportunity to make sure that Cardano is performing at its optimal level and it's doing what it's supposed to have been doing since it was incepted, basically how it was designed from the start, where it was supposed to go. Act as a place for the people and be a blockchain ecosystem that is for the community, that works for the community. So my seat at the board, that has always been my voice. And going forward from this year, when I get elected, it will be that, to listen to the community, bring their inputs, and also put that into work with whatever that we are going to be taking in terms of decisions, in terms of directional changes we are going to take. We need to make sure that not just the few loud voices on X or any social platforms get heard, but actually the people who really need this technology, they are the ones who will be at the forefront of this ecosystem. So that's my vision for this election. So I hope all of you do vote. If you have not voted yet, please do make sure that you vote. Just to speak a little bit about this also in Sinhala as well for our local community. සුබ සන්ධ්‍යාවක් සියලුම දෙනාට. ඇත්තටම පහුගිය අවුරුද්ද ඉඳලා මේ අවුරුද්ද වෙනකන් ඉන්ටර්සෙක්ට් අධ්‍යක්ෂක මණ්ඩලයේ මට ක්‍රියා කිරීමට ලැබීම ගැන මම ඇත්තටම සතුටු වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඕගොල්ලන්ගේ ඡන්දෙන් තමයි මම එතනටපත් උනේ. ඉතින් මේ පහුගිය අවුරුද්ද ඇතුළත අපිට ගොඩක් ප්‍රශ්න තිබුණා. ඒකට හේතුව අපිට ඉදිරියට යන්න මාර්ගයක් තිබුණේ නැහැ. අපි මේ මාර්ගය අලුතෙන්ම හදාගෙන ගියේ. ඉතින් එතනදී ගොඩක් දේවල් අපිට මුහුණ දෙන්න වුණා. අපිට ප්‍රශ්න ඇති වුණා. අපිට මඩ ප්‍රහාර එල්ල වුණා. ඉතින් ඒ වගේ ගොඩාක් දේවල් ඇති වුණා. නමුත් අපි කිසිම දෙයකින් සැලෙන්නේ නැතුව ඒ ගිහිල්ලා අපි ඒ Cardano ecosystem එකේ governance එහෙම නැත්නම් අපි කියන ව්‍යවස්ථාවට අනුකූලව ඒ ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එක කොහොමද අපි ඉදිරියට ගෙනියන්නේ. ඒ වගේම Cardano එකේ අයවැය කොහොමද අපි ඉදිරියට අරන් යන්නේ කියන එක අපි දැන් මාර්ගයක් හදාගත්තා. ඒ මාර්ගයේ සමහර වෙලාවට සර්ව සාධාරණික මාර්ගයක් නොවෙන්න පුළුවන්. නමුත් අපිට මාර්ගයක් දැන් තියෙන නිසා අපිට මේ මාර්ගයේ දැන් ඉදිරියට යන්න පුළුවන්. අපිට ඒක තව තවත් දියුණු කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඉතින් මේ වර මැතිවරණයේදී අපිට සීට්ස් 4ක් එකතු වෙනවා. සීට්ස් 2ක් නෙමෙයි සීට්ස් 4ක් එකතු වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට පළවෙනි වතාවට අධ්‍යක්ෂක මණ්ඩලයේ බලය මේ ප්‍රජාව තුලින් පත් වෙන නියෝජිතයන් අතට යනවා. ඉතින් අපි ඒ බලය කොහොමද හරි විදිහට පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ? ඒ බලය අපි හරි විදිහට පාවිච්චි කරලා මේ Cardano ecosystem එක අපි කොහොමද පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ? මේ තාක්ෂණය නිපදුව හේතුව, ඇත්තම හේතුව මොකද්ද? මේ සියලුම මේ තාක්ෂණික මෙවලම් වලට ඇක්සස් නැති ජනතාවට සේවය කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්න තමයි මේ තාක්ෂණය ඉදිරියට ආවේ. ඉතින් අපි පුළුවන් තරම් බලන්න ඕනේ මේ තාක්ෂණයට ඒ ඇක්සස් නැති ජනතාවට කොහොමද අපි ඇක්සස් හදලා දෙන්නේ, ඒ වගේම අලුත් දේවල් නිපදවන්නේ කොහොමද කියන දේ බලලා අපි අන්න ඒ විෂන් එකට යන එක තමයි මේ අවුරුද්දේ මගේ ටාගට් එක. ඉතින් ඕගොල්ලන් ඡන්දය ප්‍රකාශ කරලා නැත්නම් මේ වෙනකන් අනිවාර්යෙන්ම intersect.mbo.org කියන වෙබ්සයිට් එකට ගිහිල්ලා ඡන්දය ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න. අනිවාර්යෙන්ම මේ ඡන්දෙන් තේරීපත් වුණායින් පස්සේ මම මේ කරගෙන ආපු වැඩ කටයුතු ටික ඉදිරියට කරගෙන යනවා. ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ නම ඉදිරියට ගේන්න අනිවාර්යෙන්ම කටයුතු කරනවා කියන එක ඔයගලන්ට මේ අවස්ථාවේදී කියා සිටිනවා. Thank you, Sanju.
All right, thank you, Kavinda. So I'm going to leave the floor open if we do have any other candidates that decide to drop into the call. But
Sanju, sorry, I think Rand is also on the call, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I just saw him. So yeah, if Rand is here and if he can hear us, the next candidate I would like to invite over also does not need any introduction to this ecosystem, but nevertheless, I will give an official introduction to him. So this is Rand McHenry. Now, Rand is the co-founder of the Rand Network and brings over 15 years of experience in live event creation and more than 8 years being in the crypto space. Within Cardano's ecosystem, Rand co-founded Rand Network, Rand Stake Pool, and Rare Evo. And Rare Evo is basically a leading blockchain conference, as a lot of you may know. As a founding enterprise member of Intersect, Rare Network has collaborated with organizations such as Imargo, Ada Sola, WADA, and the Cardano Foundation. So, without further ado, I'd like to invite Rand up onto the floor. Rand?
Oh my gosh, thank you guys so much. I wasn't really expecting to speak. I really appreciate it. I was hopping into seeing how things were doing with the Sri Lankan community. Kavinda invited me in, and I really wanted to show him support and Mercy support as well and see what was going on in here. So I really appreciate it. I am running for board as these other fine folks are, and just really honored to be on the list with everybody and want to see Intersect grow. I think it's a really valuable part of our ecosystem, and I really thank you for that introduction there. I think you really hit the nail on the head with my background, and happy to answer any questions if anybody has any, but just happy to be here and listen in and support and be a part of it.
Rand, thank you so much for joining in. We really do appreciate it, and we really love for the Sri Lankan community to hear what you have to say. But since we are at the half-an-hour mark, I will get on to the questions. So I have personally a couple of questions for a question each for each candidate, and then I will obviously open the floor for our community to ask any questions from the candidates as well, while leaving some room for any other candidates to jump in if they have an introduction. So going in order, I would like to start off with Mercy. So Mercy, the first question I have is for you. The question is, how do you envision the board strengthening the voices of underrepresented regions like Sri Lanka, for example, let's say Africa and Asia, in shaping Cardano's global governance?
Okay, thanks for that, Sanjaya. So throughout my life, well, my adult life, one of the things that I've come to understand is building systems. Because if you're able to build systems, whether you are there or not, the systems function. And that's the reason why a lot of the work that we did in WADA was to, go to the ground, look for leaders on the ground, empower them. They know their local community, hear from them, and then, send information and education to them. So I'm not going to do anything different from that. I think that the Sri Lanka community is pretty much doing really well with that. I mean, the attendance at this town hall is amazing, because once you go on the ground, then it's easy to hear, what do people need? What are they concerned about? This is an emergent technology, what kind of products can be built. So it's all about systems, continuing to do what I've been doing, but more so, as Kavinda said, and also Rand, figure out how do we do it as a collective voice, a collective community voice, because the kind of perspective that the founding entities have is totally different from, when you have co-founded CoinCeylon or WADA or RAND or any of the other community groups that are coming in. So it's all about systems that last. Did I answer the question?
All right, thank you, Mercy.
Yeah.
All right, so the next question, Kavinda, hold on. I know I said I would go in order, but I'll keep your question at the end. I'd like to move on to Rand with his question that I have for him. So Rand, so you've had a strong experience building a community through events like RARE. How do you see that experience helping Intersect grow and engage with the wider Cardano ecosystem?
That's a great question. I like to point towards the GM Cardano and Awin Cardano events that happened in Florida last year for Intersect and the governance meeting that was able to happen there. I think one of the Treasury proposals that didn't go through that I think would be really helpful to Intersect is starting to do events like that all over the world and using bright minds like Kavinda and Mercy and others in different regions to help activate on the ground, like Mercy said, and get local folks in their community to come to events like that. That event was very powerful. It was live streamed. A lot of people saw it for Intersect, but in reality, there were only maybe 40 of us there from the local Florida community, but the power there is showing each local community, whether that's Mercy in Africa or the Sri Lankan community with you all. That is the power of showing the people in each location. And it doesn't cost that much to host those smaller events and put them on. And we think, my personal experience is I think we need more of that in our community. We need to empower more of our community members around the world to host events and get online and communicate with each other, I think is really important. And that's just kind of been my personal experience.
All right, thank you, Rand, for that question. Thank you, Rand, for that answer.
If anybody has any questions for any one of us, please do raise your hands, and we'd be more than happy to take them up. Or you can, if you're too shy to speak up, you can put it on the chat as well. And yeah. Okay, Mercy's apparently giving her up one of her spots because we've hit the maximum capacity, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so anyone, if anybody has any questions, please do raise their hands and we'll bring you up on stage. Okay, there is a question on the chat. It says, hey guys, great to see you all speaking to the community here. My question to all board member candidates here. Why should the Sri Lankan community place their trust in you to represent their voice on the Intersect board? I think it would be unfair for me to take it up. So, Mercy, do you want to take that one?
I can, yes. So I once said that if you can make anything succeed in the hardest place, so places like LATAM, places like Sri Lanka, places like Africa, then it's very easy for it to succeed everywhere else. So the reason that we are here is that the Sri Lankan community represents a sizable portion of the Cardano community and the Intersect community. I am not promising to do it only for the Sri Lankan community, but what I am here to say is that if I can make it happen, I mean, together on the community side of it, on the community group of board seats, if I can make it happen for Africa, it means that I'm making it happen for the Sri Lankan community. It means that I'm making it happen for the many people that, as Kavinda said, you not see them on X, you not see them in a lot of places, but they're doing amazing work. So it's all about pushing power to the edges, creating the systems that enable more people to come in. That's why, in conclusion, that's why I and some other community members founded through Kavinda, founded the Asia Africa Cardano Coalition. So it's all about to the edges, because once you do that, it's easy for everyone else, whether they are in Sri Lanka, whether in Bangalore or anywhere else, they are able to find a path to meaningful participation in Cardano.
All right, so Adam, welcome. We had gone through the candidate introductions, but I'm going to open the floor for you to introduce yourself. But before that, I'd like to give a small introduction to you as well. So Adam has been serving on the Intersect Board alongside Kavinda since 2024. And he has also played roles in the Civics Committee as well as the Constitutional Council, among others. So he also serves as a teaching assistant professor of information sciences at the University of Illinois. And he's also been involved in blockchain since 2017. He has extensive board leadership experience across multiple organizations, and he's brought deep expertise in governance education. And decentralized decision making is also something he's very good at. So Adam, the floor is yours.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I'm very sorry I'm joining so late. I had another meeting at the same time for the university. And it's really a pleasure to be here. Wonderful to see Kavinda and Mercy and so many of the other faces of people I've met along the way. So I really appreciate the introduction. I don't know what else to say about myself other than to say that the past year of being on the board, and even I guess the past almost 2 years of being involved with Intersect has been just a rush. It's gone by so fast, but also an extreme pleasure to be part of this community. I got involved with Cardano because I got very disaffected from my own country's politics. I got kind of burned out. I wasn't sure where things were going, and I knew that there had to be something different. And I was very disappointed in the way that the United States, which had traditionally been a leader in technology, was, not always looking at the right things. And so I started looking at what I could be involved with myself, and I found the, blockchain movement as that thing that was all the values that I'd always, cared about all my life, of looking beyond, what someone looks like or where they're from, to what's in their heart, what can they contribute, what do they want to do, and what are they trying to do for the world. These are the things, these are the values I was raised with. These are the things that I've always tried to strive for myself, even when I haven't, been perfect. Doing, for my religion, it's, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So for me, it was, how can I be part of this community? And as I got more involved in Cardano, I found, I got started with, the sort of decentralized space, with ADAO and Summon and coming up through there. And then that really led me into working with Intersect and getting to where I am now. So appreciate the chance to be here, to get to chat with all of you, and to hopefully earn your vote so I can continue working on the board with Kavinda and everyone else who may be elected. Thank you.
All right, thank you for addressing the Sri Lankan community, Adam, and happy to have you here as well. I did ask the other two candidates questions, and I had some connection issues while I was asking a question from Kavinda. But before I get to Kavinda, I'll ask you the question I had for you. So my question to you is, as someone who has already served on the board, what do you feel is the most important lesson learned in the past year that you can guide the board forward in the next term if you are reelected?
Yeah, I think the most important lesson is that we need to have really strong and competent leadership in the staff. I feel like, a lot of the things that the board has had to do over the past year is reform the way that Intersect staff was structured, because of the fact that when it started, there was a lot of questions about what Intersect would be doing. And I think that we didn't have a good idea of how we needed to have the organization look. And so now that we're finally, settling into us, having Jack setting a great example as our interim executive director and doing this, getting ready to do the search for a permanent executive director, and having, the consulting group cycle through replacing their members with permanent members who are, more aligned with the Cardano community. I think that we're in a really good space. It's just going to be up to the board to make sure that process continues and that we have the best people possible so the staff can be there to support the committees and take their direction from the membership, and then the staff and the membership can work hand in hand.
All right, Adam, thank you so much. And now finally, my last question, I'm going to direct it again back to Kavinda. So Kavinda, my question to you, as someone who has represented Sri Lanka and Asia, what do you see as priorities for emerging markets in the governance era? And how do you hope to continue addressing them when you're re-elected to the board?
Thank you, Sanjay. Thanks for the question. I think it's not often I get quizzed on home ground on our own town hall, so I appreciate it. I think for me, the biggest priorities for the emerging markets in this, how would I say it, the new governance era would probably be access, inclusion, and representation. I think these 3 points, these things I've been reiterating for quite some time, especially with communities in Asia and Africa and also other underrepresented regions, often have very different barriers that they face. It's not usually common. So whether it could be languages, it could be resources, or it could be just simple visibility within the global conversation, because it tend to get like buried down. So if these barriers aren't addressed, I think more or less the ethos of decentralization risk becoming uneven. So we've seen that quite often. So I think over the past year, I've worked really hard to bring these voices forward, not just from just speaking about it, but through like education programs, university partnerships. I mean, some of these workshops that we've been having locally, like the constitutional workshops, and also building bridges between the local community as well as the global Cardano ecosystem. So this has been something that I've been really advocating during the last year. So when elected for the second term, my focus will be on strengthening these pathways, because I think that will create a lot more opportunities for builders, for like students, even businessmen who are trying to run their businesses on blockchain or trying to bring some element onto it. So I think that will be one of the key areas that also I'll be focused on. And another one would be multilingual support, because I keep hearing this quite a lot. And that, I think if we do those things, it will really ensure that the Intersect policies reflect the needs for all regions, not just the most resourced ones. So, because in my point of view, I believe that at the end of the day, governance will only succeed if it feels accessible and meaningful for everyone. So not just a select few, or not just a few loud voices that you see on social media, but also on the ground level. So I think that will be the vision that I plan to champion in the coming year.
All right, thank you, and well said. And yeah, and again, thank you to all the candidates present here today for introducing yourselves and speaking to our community. But I didn't even realize the time. It's almost at an hour's mark, but I want to open the floor for our community to ask some questions from our candidates as well. So to our community, do understand the power and the responsibility that you have in this ecosystem. As Kavinda rightly said, this ecosystem belongs to you, and you have every right to, grill the candidates with whatever questions that you have. So I'm going to open the floor for everyone to ask the questions. I know our community is a bit shy when it comes to asking questions. So if you don't want to come up on the mic, please do ask your questions on chat.
I think we have some hand raises. Sanj, would you ask them to?
Yeah, so we'll go by order. I saw Adshan first. So Adshan, the floor is yours for your question.
Yeah, so my question would be for Mercy. Hi, Mercy. Thank you for joining us. So my question would be,
Thank
in
you.
your view, what's one thing the Cardano governance still hasn't figured out, and how should Intersect approach solving it? And my second question would be, how would you go about doing it as a board member? Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question. I'll keep it short. I think one of my main issues, and especially because of the regions that I've been privileged to represent, is participation. And when I say participation, what I mean is making it fair for everyone. Because right now, people are doing a lot of volunteering work for years, and they are not getting any incentives or any enablement to be able to do it, right? If you are in the West, sometimes it's a little easy to be able to do that. If you are in Africa, in Sri Lanka, in Asia, and other such places, it's a lot more difficult. So what that means is that we take a lot of voices out automatically. How I plan to address that goes very much to what I said in the beginning. Now we have 4 seats, so it's all about strategy. How do we strategize that? And I know that this issue, for those of us even here, whether it's Kavinda or Adam or Rand, I mean, this is a key issue. So what happens is that whichever 4 end up on the board, we just make sure that this is a priority. We want more people, so we want to make sure that we don't, disadvantage anyone. Therefore, how do we strategize together to do it? And then, four votes on a board is a lot. So that is what I'll say for now. Thank you.
The next question, I'm going to open the floor up for Amy. Yeah, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, my question is for Adam. But first off, I just wanted to say that I think you've done a really great job on the board thus far. But how do you think the board can balance decentralization with the need for efficiency in decision making? I did see some talk about delegated authority when it comes to the budget for next year. Do you think that this could potentially help iron out delays that we saw earlier this year?
Yeah, thank you for your kind words. I think that one of the key things that Intersect needs to do is be a hub of Cardano organizations. We need to not try to have Intersect be everything for everyone. We need to make sure that our committees have like the right level of autonomy, where the committees are empowered to do certain functions, and that can be considered a form of executive function. I both love and hate that term because it's very nebulous. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, yes, we need executive function, but at the same time, like, how far does it go is always the question, right? So Intersect committees are a great example. Intersect working groups, another great example of, give them a task, tell them like, this is your charge, this is what you need to get done, and then get out of their way and help them do it, right? Give them some staff members if they need some staff members for specific resources. Give them a stipend so they're not, like doing it for free and having to, like potentially like balance their childcare and stuff. If they can actually like set aside some time because they know that they're going to get a proper stipend for the work if they're a duly elected committee member. So these are all things that the current board has been focusing on. But then also we shouldn't also forget that there can also be things like other organizations that can step up and say, hey, we want to be like a collaborative that focuses on just addressing the need for like the stablecoin proposal is another example. Like I'm not sure if it's the best example ever, but it's the one that comes to mind immediately, right? So you've got Elder Millennial, who has put together the Sovereign Wealth Fund, they're calling it, proposal. And even if you don't agree with all of the details of it, he's at least assembled a different group of people than Intersect and said, we would like to have a specific amount of funding to do a specific thing. And these are the checks and balances. And then we can make an agreement with Intersect for it. And then SNEC has done the same thing. SNEC has said, we want to go out and get some listings and we'll do it for it. And, the Oceania group has done the same thing, different group. They say, we can work with Intersect on things. And, WADA can do the same thing. CoinCeylon can do the same thing. These are all, as we grow as an ecosystem, everyone can be focusing in on what their niche is. So it's decentralization, but then we can also have, Intersect there as an organization that can serve as administrator, maintain a lot of institutional knowledge, and be there to back up organizations. So that's my hope for Intersect, is that we can remain a really essential hub, but not have to try to do everything ourselves.
All right, thank you, Adam. I'm going through the chat to see if we have any other questions, but so we have, yes, Kavinda antima dawasa vote කරන්න. So the last day for voting is the 26th of September, which was the question. Vote කරන්න තියෙන අන්තිම දවස 26 වෙනිදා මේ මාසේ. තව දවස් කීපයක් තියෙනවා. And then I think this is another question that we have, I think, directed at, I think, our community hub managers. Well, within the right to answer the question. So, මේ පාර community hub එකේ annual member meeting එක කවද්ද? So he's asking when the annual member meeting for our hub is going to be.
I can answer that. I think last year we did have AMMs around the world, but this time I think we are going to be a little bit more lean on it. Yet we have not taken a call on that, but I think we will have one fairly a big event in alongside the summit. That's what we're currently discussing. We might have like an AMM event there, but who knows, maybe we might be able to have a couple of satellite events. සිංහලෙන් කියනවා නම් අපේ AMM event එක ගිය අවුරුද්ද අපි ටිකක් ලොකුවට කළා ලංකාවේ. නමුත් මේ පාර ඩිසයිඩ් කරලා තියෙනවා අපේ cost එක අඩු කරගන්න ඕන නිසා බර්ලින් කඩාන සමිට් එකත් එක්ක එකතු කරලා එකක් කරමු කියලා. නමුත් සමහරවිට අපි පොඩි event එකක් ලංකාවේ local audience එකට කරන්න plan කරනවා. ඉතින් අපි අනිවාර්යයෙන් මේක ගැන ඔයගලන්ට විස්තර කියන්නම්. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. We do still have a little bit more time for the AMMs, but we'll definitely keep you guys updated on that. Oh yeah, and Adam has shared his.
And I think there's one last question on chat. Oh, hold on, there's another. Oh, that's Adam with his campaign.
Adam has shared his.
So there's one last question, and mage membership එක expire වෙලා මට vote කරන්න බැරිද? Is the question that they have.
Do you want me to answer that? මේ ඔයාගේ membership එක expire වෙලා නම් ඔයාලට vote කරන්න බෑ. මොකද අපි condition එකක් ගෙනාවා 15 වෙනිදාට කලින් membership renew කරගන්න ඕනේ කියලා. එහෙම නැත්නම් ඔයාලට vote කරන්න බෑ. Unfortunately මේ පාර vote කරන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Just for the translation sake, I will also take that up. The question was basically, my membership has expired, can I not vote? So the answer is, we did send a lot of renewal emails asking you guys to renew your membership before the 15th of September in order to make sure all of the voting stays fair. So anybody who didn't renew their membership before the 15th of September, unfortunately, you're not available. You're not able to vote. However, do renew it, because you will be able to vote in the coming elections as well. So unfortunately, you won't be able to vote for the board elections, but yeah, so keep an eye out for all of the emails that drop by on the through Intersect. At the same time, there's two links that Adam has posted. His profile, which is in Sinhala and Tamil, so you can actually go through it as well.
Well, actually, to add to that, I just give a brief update. So community election applications start October 1st to the 15th. Voting is October 17th to 29th, and the results are November 3rd. So everyone who hasn't renewed their membership, please renew it now. So you'll be eligible to vote for all the committee elections. Also, the civics committee is holding X-Space with everyone on the 8th, 15th, and the 22nd to engage the community. So please look forward. I'm not going to go into much details since the time is running out.
Thank you, Rashad, for that update. All right, so I think we've passed the 1 hour mark, and we're almost at an end. So, but I'd again like to thank Adam, Rand, Mercy, and Kavinda for taking the time to come up on this call and introduce yourselves and basically campaign for the elections. And for the community, I also have to add, if you want to get to know our candidates a bit more, all you have to do is log into the Intersect dashboard, and you will be able to get an in-depth introduction as to what they are campaigning for and what they plan to do if they are re-elected. So please do log in, and if you haven't voted yet, do cast your vote and check out the other candidates as well. And again, thank you everyone for joining, and I'm going to hand it back over to Kavinda if he wants to close off the call. So Kavinda, floor is yours. Thank you guys.
Thank you everybody for coming through to the September Town Hall. We are coming to the official end of it. And once again, thank you to every single one of you who showed up at our booth at the Industry Expo. We had a really great time connecting with all of you, and we got a lot of feedback of what's been going on and what you guys would expect of us. So we'll be taking that up as well. So thank you so much once again. So before I close up, I'd like to take this moment to thank Rand, Mercy, and Adam for showing up today. Just before I close up, Adam and Mercy, do you guys want to add a last bit of thoughts just before I close up?
Very quickly, I do want to say a huge thank you to Kavinda, to your team, and to the Sri Lanka community and everyone here. I know that we will meet again soon. Thank you.
Yeah, and I also want to say thank you. This is a great community, and really appreciate you considering me.
Thank you so much. So we will see you guys with our next town hall next month. So stay safe and make sure you vote. Good night.
See you guys. Good night.